speaking. And that suddenly blossomed and grew. And I still do some today, not as many as I did in the past. I don't really want to have to travel that much,
Yeah.
but I still today have the opportunity to use the sport to influence corporate America and to transfer the admired skills of the world's great racing teams into their corporate culture. And can you imagine the kick for me after all these years that I still have the power to influence people using motorsports as the platform? I love it. It's amazing.
No, it's amazing. I was involved in F1 in the 90s, and to take people around to see Benetton, the factories, it is something special about it. So I can see if you have the ability to talk about it, it must be real, a corporate level, a huge switch on.
Yeah.
When you look back at the young Derek Daly from Ballantyre, who you probably say was probably shy, didn't know what he was doing, maybe, perhaps, and where you are now, what do you think? How'd you manage?
I think.
Who's your man?
What happened to me is I believe it's available for a lot more people, but they don't know it. But I think when you're hardwired to have a stretch goal, like everybody talks about, I have a goal. My goal is this and that and the other. But for me, a goal isn't something you try and force to make happen. A goal is when you become the person that you need to be to fulfill that goal. That's the magic. But then you take a goal and you add a stretch to it. A stretch goal is what might be possible if you reach far. That's what I learned how to do. And that's what I try and bring other people into that type of world, to give them an understanding of what it would take for them to be able to do something like that. Because back in the day, maybe the most influential person in my life was my dad, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
Because after a big accident that I had at Mondello one time, when my car rolled upside down, smashed itself to pieces, and my car was in bits, it was upside down. I was crawling out from under it. I was halfway out when suddenly I looked up and there was my dad running across Mondello Park, across the grass, track marshals running after him, trying to stop him. He picks me up and we're walking back to see my mother. And he said to me, even though the car now was destroyed, smashed, he says, I'm glad you had a go.
Yeah.
Now just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Right? Here was your son, could have been killed, destroyed his car, don't know what it's going to cost. And your dad tells you, I'm glad you had a go.
Yeah.
Because he also was a person that had a go. My dad's main job, as when we were very young kids, was selling bacon, rashers and sausages out of the back of a van. And then he decided, I'm going to buy a shop. Then I'll buy another shop. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was very much entrepreneurial moves back in those days. When your dad risks, the family income to try and start a business himself. And so that I'm sure had an effect on me. But when he said to me, I'm glad you had a go when you destroyed your car, that was the type of impetus that I took on board to have a go at almost anything. And I'm so glad I did.
And the F word never seems to have come in to your thinking process. Failure.
Never.
Yeah.
And I failed many times.
Well, so did Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan says he failed 13 times. I mean, but you haven't, this our chat, the word, that F word has not even crossed your brain.
Right. But most people get paralyzed and will never take a chance in case they might fail. I was the complete opposite. I would jump in immediately and do whatever I could to get wherever I could with it. And if it failed, you move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And is there a piece of music, Derek, that's traveled with you for good times, bad times, or is your go-to piece you probably don't, like the Ireland Islands, you probably don't like music?
Well, so the piece of music, whenever I get asked this question, there is one that stands out head and shoulders above everything else. It's Fleetwood Mac, The Chain. You know why?
That's because Murray Walker and the BBC used it, is it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So halfway through, when it goes into the lead guitar solo, that was the intro music for Formula One on BBC for all the years that I sat down in front of the television. And whenever I heard that track, it brought me back to where it all started, where the energy and excitement of Formula One just grew within inside me that says, I'm going to have a go. And even today, it's iconic today when I hear it.
Yeah, and it's so rhythmic. Whoever chose that was the best bit of editing I've ever known for sport, and the way the music builds up, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And advice to younger people who are trying to drive, or a quote that you would say, this is where I've lived my life by. What would that sound like, Derek? Or do you have one?
Yeah. I mean, today I tell people, look.
I mean, it's a different sport. It's more time. All those things are given. But a word, if somebody came to you at the Indianapolis and say, hey, Derek, my son wants to be a driver, what would those words sound like to advice you'd give?
So I would rather even couch it differently, because it's more to do with everything in life that you do, not even just being a racing driver. If you want to operate at a high performance level, let's say, I'll tell them, look, performance is personal. High performance is highly personal. And that's very different. And there's a fellow over here called Roger Penske, runs Team Penske. Yeah. They race in Formula One. John Watson from Ireland won the Austrian Grand Prix in a Penske car. I asked Roger Penske one day, I said, when you...
Is that senior, or that's the old boy, the main man?
Yeah, he's 8 years old, still going strong.
Wow.
Still winning races.
Wow.
One of the most impressive men I've ever seen and ever been around. They employ 77,000 people here in America. And so I said to him one day, I said, when you employ people, do you put them in a position where they can be the best they can be? He said, not necessarily. He said, I put them in a position where they want to be the best they can be. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
See the difference when you want something and then you stretch for it. But here's the thing. The zone of peak performance, Rossa, is not a crowded place.
Oh, no.
Because of the high price for entry.
Right.
Because for people who want to operate up there, it will take sacrifice. It will take commitment. It will take dedication. It will take an element of risk. So when you explain that to people, what it is you give them the filter that they now fully understand. This is the filter I would have to walk through to operate on the boundaries of what might be possible. And because people need to make their own personal choice. Am I ready to do this? Am I willing to sacrifice to operate at the level that I've never been before? And there's no magic to this. You know what I mean? There is no magic. But people have a choice. The greatest power we all possess is the power to choose. Choose whether we want to sacrifice to get there. Choose whether we want to focus and dedicate our lives to achieving a certain goal. And it's okay if you don't.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to get to the level that you've never been before and stretch to what might be possible, you will have to commit. You will have to have sacrifices. But I tell people there's monetary and emotional rewards for everybody when you operate on the outer edges of what might be possible. And for me, it's a sense of satisfaction to operate out there.
And would you do it all again, given the chance, Star?
Yeah, I would. Now, there are some mistakes I made that I'd rather not make.
Yeah, but you learn from mistakes. We all make mistakes there.
Yeah. And people say, "Well, do you have any regrets?" And the stock answer is, "Oh no, I got no regrets about anything." I do. I have regrets about some of the moves that I made, but you can't, as they say in racing, you can't focus on that rear view mirror. If you focus on that rear view mirror, you will run off the track and
You're
crash.
not going that direction, so stop looking back.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. In our sport, what's in the rear view mirror is what we're accelerating away from at high speed.
Absolutely. If you don't mind me saying, it's been a